Welcome back to Kickincrochet. This is glove 10 in the year of gloves, and I will warn you just a tiny bit that this is almost certainly the most complicated of the gloves in the set. It's got a fun design, but it is a little tricky. And as usual, I'm demonstrating the 7-inch glove. You can see the shell pattern a lot more clearly when you kind of stretch it out when it's put on. And this one does fit quite snugly for the 7-inch. Okay, so as usual, you're going to need a DK weight yarn and a size G crochet hook. I'm using Swish DK in Allspice because it's fall and it's pretty. Okay, so let's get our yarn. I'm going to start out doing foundation single crochet of 36. So chain 1, insert my hook in that loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, chain 1, that's my foundation chain, then yarn over and pull through both loops, insert my hook in that foundation chain, preferably through both loops of it, but that's up to personal preference, yarn over, pull up a loop without snagging my yarn, chain 1, yarn over and pull through both loops, and we'll repeat that until we have 36 stitches. I don't usually count the starting chain 1 as a stitch, but you can if you'd like to. Again, kind of personal preference. So here I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, and I wouldn't be counting this starting chain 1. So I'm going to go until I have 36 foundation single crochet. Okay, so I've done 35. I need one more, but I'm going to join this into a ring with the last stitch. So I'm still going to insert into that foundation chain and pull up a loop. But now when I chain 1, before I do, I'm going to insert into my starting chain, pull that loop through the starting chain and my first loop. Now I'll yarn over and pull through 2, and then I'll join to the top of the first stitch with a slip stitch. So that joined at the base and the top of the stitch. Alternatively, you can just finish your 36, join with a slip stitch, and then sew it shut with the tail when you're done. Either way works just fine. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1. We're going to single crochet in the first stitch, chain 1, skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, work 3 double crochet in the next stitch, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. We're going to do 3 double crochet in the last skipped stitch, so the 4th skipped stitch, this one right here. So we worked into here, we're going to go back 1, we're going to work 3 double crochet there, so we're crossing over the double crochet that we already made. We'll go through that stitch and reach around, so we're going all the way behind those 3 double crochet to grab our yarn and pull it through. We'll finish that double crochet, and then we'll do 2 more in the same place. So if you're familiar with like an X stitch or a cross stitch, we're basically doing that, but with 3 double crochet instead of just 1. Now we'll chain 1, skip 3 stitches. Now we're, single crochet here. Chain 1, skip 4 stitches, 3 double crochet. Chain 1, 3 double crochet in the last skipped stitch. Chain 1, skip 3, single crochet, chain 1, skip 4, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the last skipped stitch, chain 1, skip 3, single crochet, chain 1, skip 4, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the last skipped stitch, chain 1, we'll skip the last 3 stitches and we'll join to our starting single crochet. The starting chain 1 did not count as a stitch. So you should have 4 shells. Again, this is for the 7-inch size. Okay, for the next row, we're going to slip stitch in this first chain 1 space. This does not count as a stitch, it's just getting us in the right place. Now we'll chain 3. This does count as a double crochet. We'll do 2 more double crochet in the same space. And chain 1. Now we're going to do 3 double crochet in the chain 1 space to the right of where we started. So we're doing a shell right at the beginning of this row. Oops. Now we're going to chain 1. We'll single crochet in the chain space at the top of this shell. Chain 1. Now we're going to do a woven shell around this single crochet, so using these 2 chain spaces. So we'll go 3 double crochet here, then chain 1, then 3 double crochet here. Then chain 1, single crochet in the space at the top of the shell, chain 1, and another woven shell, we're just going to repeat this all the way around. So that's 3 double crochet in the space to the left of the single crochet, chain 1, and we'll do 3 double crochet in the space to the right of the single crochet. Chain 1, single crochet in the space at the top of the shell, chain 1, woven shell around this single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the chain space at the top of the shell, chain 1, and now we're back to the beginning. So we are going to join to our starting shell here. The trick here is that you have to find your starting chain 3, and it kind of gets buried in here. So if you look all the way over here, here's our chain, then we have 1, 2, 3 double crochet, then we had a chain, and then we have 1, 2, 3 double crochet. So this way over here is the start, or sorry, the top of our chain 3. So that's where we're going to join in there. So if you kind of count backwards, it's easier to find it. So we'll just slip stitch there. And then we're going to chain 3. So in the past, on the previous row, we had to slip stitch 1 to get into the right spot, but here we're already right over this chain space. So we're just going to work into that chain space. So we got a chain 3, that counts as a double crochet. We'll do 2 more double crochet in that space. Chain 1, and then we'll do our 3 double crochet to the right of that single crochet. And chain 1, single crochet in the top of this shell, chain 1. Now we'll do our woven shell around this single crochet. So 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet to the right, chain 1. I do like how quickly this glove tends to work up. Single crochet in the top of the shell, chain 1, woven shell around the single crochet, so 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet to the right, chain 1, single crochet in the top of the shell, chain 1, woven shell around the single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the top, chain 1, and now again we're back to the beginning. So we're going to join just like last time. I like to count backwards, so there's my chain, 1 2 3, chain, 1 2 and 3. If you find it easier, you can always place a stitch marker in your starting chain to hold that spot. Okay, so that was row 4. It's our 3rd row of shells. We've got 1 2 3 rows of shells, and we're going to repeat row 4 more times. So we're going to have 8 total rows of shells before we have a change, and we are working bottom up, so I highly recommend before you get too far to try your glove on. Make sure you get it over your hand okay, that it fits your wrist okay. And I'll come back after we do 4 more rows. Sorry, 5 more rows. 8 total rows of shells. 5 6 7 8 9. Yes, 5 more rows of shells. Should be 8 total rows of shells. All right, so we've got 8 rows of shells, 9 rows total if you count your foundation row. When you're counting the shells, it's a little weird. So there's 2 ways that I've found that make it easier. So if you start here, this was my first shell, you can kind of go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. They zigzag, or you can count around. So 1 shell, 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and they kind of ladder up sideways. So whatever way works best for you, but you should have 8 rows of shells, or however many you want. So this is this part here, kind of the cuff of the glove, and if you want to make that shorter or longer, you can do that now. All right, this next round we're going to start increasing for our thumb. We don't want to add a whole shell on each side right away because then it just really kind of suddenly increases. So we're going to add just extra single crochet chain 1 spaces. So we're going to add 1 of each of those on either side of the glove. So let's get our yarn back on our hook. So we'll chain 3, And we're going to work 2 more double crochet in the same space. Chain 1, 3 to the right of our starting place. So this is just the regular starting shell. Chain 1, single crochet in the space at the top of the shell. So nothing different here yet. Chain 1. Now we're going to single crochet in the chain space before the single crochet. So we're going to single crochet here, chain 1. And now we're going to ignore that, and we're still going to do a woven shell around this single crochet. And chain 1, single crochet in the top of the space, chain 1. Now we're going to do another set of woven shell, just normal. Chain 1, the 3 before. Chain 1, our single crochet in top of the shell, chain 1, and now here we're going to add 1 more single crochet in chain 1 space, again before that single crochet. We'll do a single crochet, chain 1, and now we'll do our woven shell as normal. Chain 1, and we'll still finish this off the same way, the single crochet in the top, a chain 1, and then we'll join to our starting, chain 3, maybe, oh goodness, having problems. Okay, so now we've added an extra single crochet and chain 1 on each side of the glove. So we're going to keep kind of working on our increases here. So we'll start the same way. We'll chain 3, 2 more double crochet in that space. Chain 1, 3 double crochet in the space before. Chain 1, single crochet in the top, chain 1. And now here's where we did our first extra single crochet chain 1. So you see I have 1 here and 1 here. So we've got 2 going on right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 woven shells kind of right next to each other, and they won't have the single crochet in between them at this point. So we're going to do a woven shell around this single crochet. And then we will chain 1 in between the 2 shells, and then we'll do a woven shell around this single crochet. and chain 1. Now we'll do our single crochet in the top of the shell, chain 1. This one's just a normal woven shell. And then a normal single crochet in the top. And then here we're going to again have a double. So we've got that single crochet and that single crochet. So woven shell over the first one. Chain 1 to the right. Chain 1, and then a woven shell over this one. So you'll see that the starting 3 double crochet and the second 3 double of the first one and the second 3 double crochet of the second one will be in the same space. So we start to the left. If I don't snag my yarn. And then to the right. Chain 1, our single crochet in the top of the shell, chain 1, and then we'll join to our starting stitch. Okay, so now we've got a pretty dramatic increase here, right? It's kind of flaring out quite a bit. Our next round, we're not going to increase nearly as much, but you do have 6, you should have 6 woven shells at this point. It's just that 2 of them will not have the single crochet in between them yet. All right, so this next round feels a little weird. We have our 6 shells and we need to add the extra spaces in between them. So we'll start out normally. We'll chain 3. Do 2 more in that space. Chain 1, 3, double crochet to the right. Chain 1, single crochet in the top of the shell, chain 1. Now we're going to do a regular woven shell because this part is pretty normal. Chain 1, 3 to the right. Chain 1, single crochet in the top of the shell, chain 1. Okay, so now things get a little weird because we have this woven shell and then we have this woven shell and there's no single crochet in the middle to make a shell around, but we still need a shell in this space to have the right pattern. So the way we're going to get around that is we're going to do our woven shell using the space between the woven shells and the last double crochet here. So I have my single crochet in the top of this shell, which I actually put in the wrong spot. Let me fix that. That was weird. So I'll do 3 double crochet in this space between the 2 woven shells. Chain 1, and now we'll do 3 double crochet in the last double crochet of the shell to the right. 1, 2, 2, 3, chain 1, single crochet in the top of this shell, chain 1. This is a normal woven shell here. Chain 1. Chain 1, our single crochet in the top of the shell, chain 1, and now this one's another normal woven shell. And our chain 1 in the top of the shell. Sorry, our single crochet in the top of the shell and chain 1. And now here again we have our 2 woven shells in a row, so we're just going to do the same thing. I'll chain 3 double crochet in the chain space between them. Chain 1 and 3 double crochet in the last double crochet of the shell to the right. Chain 1, single crochet in the top of the shell, chain 1, and join to our starting chain. So that is the end of the increases. The next 2 rounds are just regular because we have regained our shell pattern, right? We have shells separated by single crochets and chain 1 spaces. So for the next 2 rounds, you're just going to do regular shells, just like you did for row 4, and that repeat. And then I'm going to come back and we'll do the thumb separation. So 2 more rounds, just regular. Okay, now it's time to do our thumb separation. In most of my gloves, I increase specifically on the thumb side, but in this one, just because of the nature of these shells, I increased on both sides. And so when you do the thumb, one of these shells is going to be kind of right at the peak of the thumb. So you see on this finished one, we've got a shell right here, right in the middle of the thumb. And so that is going to be a thing. But let's get this yarn untangled. So we are going to start out normal. Our normal starting shell here. Chain 1, single crochet in the top of the shell, chain 1, normal woven shell here, single crochet in the top of the shell. I'm going to do 2 more regular woven shells. Now we're going to skip the next shell. So we did our single crochet here. So we're going to skip all the way past the next shell So we're skipping the single crochet here, we're skipping the shell here, we're gonna skip the next single crochet, and then we're gonna single crochet in the top of the next shell. So we're kind of skipping a lot, but that all that stuff we just skipped is our thumb. So we single crochet it there, chain one, and we join. But you probably noticed that that means our pattern is kind of a little wonky, right? Because we have those 2 single crochets in a row. So for this next round, we'll start by chaining 3. We'll do 2 more double crochet in the same chain space. We'll chain 1. We're going to do 3 double crochet in the chain space to the right of this single crochet. To the right of the single crochet before the thumb separation. So if you hold it kind of this way, so the thumb's hanging out here, and kind of just pretend that those single crochets are the same single crochet, so we're working in this chain space here. Chain 1, single crochet in the top of the shell, and now we're going to finish this round just normal. So we're back to having 4 shells. We don't have to do anything else weird to get this joined back up. Ooh, as I hit my light. Okay, so now we are all joined together. This is one of the few gloves that I do where I don't add to the thumb after I made it. So this is just what your thumb is going to be. We're not going to add anything to it at all. At this point, you're going to just add as many rows as you want. I added 3 more rows, and then you finish it off, and then you're done.